everyone, and welcome back to the Woolly Wonka Fibers podcast. My name is Anne. Today is Sunday, November 20th, 2016. It is a gorgeous, bright blue sky here today. I am getting ready to get things together to have my folks come and visit us on Tuesday. We've got the Thanksgiving holiday coming up here in the United States. And I guess I should say, this is a podcast about my indie dye, my indie design businesses, my knitting, my spinning, and a little bit of stitchy stuff. Let's see. Oh, so my folks, sorry. I have been up since 4:30 this morning, which is good and bad. I had a list of things that I wanted to do this weekend or needed to get done this weekend, so today I cleaned the oven. Is there anyone who likes cleaning their oven? I can't even imagine that that's the case. It is the nastiest job. And the kind of ironic part, I guess, is this is my tradition. I always clean it the week before Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving through Christmas is when I dirty the oven up most. I'm not sure why I don't just wait and clean it in January, but at any rate. I was up early this morning. My husband is gone again today of this weekend with our younger dog, so the older dog and I are hanging out. So we've cleaned the oven. We have a 2-level house, and so I've dusted, vacuumed everything in the downstairs today, and then I've scrubbed the one bathroom that's down here. Again, does anyone enjoy scrubbing the bathroom? I don't. Anyway, did that. Let's see. Did a couple hours work in my studio because I've got another huge set of dye orders that need to get done, and so I really don't have a full day I can devote to taking off. So I worked yesterday and I also worked today. And so it is now 9:30. I've done all of that. I've run 2 loads of wash, doing my podcast. And then I'm going to do nothing but fun stuff the rest of the day. I still have cleaning to do upstairs, which I'm going to do tomorrow. But my husband's going to come home with all of his fishing gear and stuff and unpack the truck, and it's all going to get tramped through the upstairs of the house, and there's no sense in doing it until he gets that done. I can't remember who I was talking to. It was in virtual reality, but anyway, I think there are people who are dessert first people, and there are people who are vegetables first people. I'm a vegetables first kind of person, so I can't sit down and relax until I have my to-do list done, like my chores and work, and I'm not somebody who gets up and reads for an hour usually. Did that this summer when I was recovering from surgery, but it's just not how I'm programmed. My husband, definitely, he gets up, he reads the paper, he has a cup and a half of coffee. He takes probably 45 minutes to an hour before he starts getting ready to go to work, and I much prefer to have my downtime at the end of the day. So anyway, having been up since 4:30 today, I have been very productive over the last 5 hours, and now I feel like I can spend the afternoon doing whatever I want, which is kind of nice. We've got house guests the next 2 weekends in a row, so there won't be a lot of downtime around here, which is fine. But it's nice to kind of have a day to yourself every so often just to kind of regroup. So lots to talk about today. I've got a few shop-related things here at the front end, and then I will talk about my knitting and my spinning and a little stitchy stuff. So most of this information up front, I will put, well, not most, all of it, I will put a link in the show notes so you guys can find things if you're interested in any of them. The first thing I wanted to talk about is this piece that I've got sitting here on the mannequin. This is actually kind of a sneak peek because it's going to release over Thanksgiving weekend. So I wanted to take this podcast opportunity to just give you guys some details on it. I was contacted by another indie dyer, the Fiber Seed. There is their card. She is down in Florida and has very similar yarn weights to mine. She's got a bunch of sock weights and then this DK weight that I actually used for this sample. The pattern is called the Cosmopolis Vest. It's, again, a DK weight. The original yarn is 230 yards per skein, which exactly matches my Austen and Austen DKs. Nice, plump, bouncy yarn. This is 100% superwash wool. So I used two colors, this kind of slate gray and then a black. I think this would also look great in a solid and a hand paint or vice versa. I think it would be a really great way to use up some stash. It is not a huge yardage eater. Pretty straightforward. Cast on at the bottom hem, work your way up to the armpits, divide and work the shaping for each front piece because it's got a shallow V-neck. When you're finished, join at the shoulders, and then you just pick up the stitches for this. Well, let me back up. Pick up stitches to here on both sides, and you work those front bands, and then you pick up the collar, which has a little overlap right here. Then you pick up stitches for the sleeve to finish off the armhole openings, also in rib. So 2x2 rib, there is nothing difficult about this. If you know how to do some basic decreases and knit and purl, that's all there is. Pretty straightforward. It's got a slightly swingy shape because of how the closure works here. I just picked this kind of brass colored big button. You certainly could opt not to do a buttonhole here and just put a shawl pin through here if you wanted to. So you have some options about how you would like to style it. This piece I think would be great. It'd be great over jeans. It'd be great if you had like a one piece knit black dress that you wanted to maybe make a little more businessy. You could toss that on over it. Just another great layering piece for the fall into winter. The fiber seed has a whole bunch of great colors if you are interested in ordering directly from them. Again, I'll put a link. There's all kinds of fun color combinations I think you could pick. So this will be releasing on Friday the 25th of November. Gosh, I don't even know what month it is. Friday, the 25th of November. And again, you know, it probably would work as a stash busting project too. If you had a couple of skeins of a DK weight that you want to use for the body, you might only have to pick up the one skein for the ribbing, and that would be it. Unless, of course, you have a deep stash and have both colorways that you'd like to use. So yeah, so anyway, that one is the sample is gonna head off to them. Just wanted to make sure that I had a chance to share it with you guys. And yeah, that will be debuting, I think, at TNNA in June. I think that's when she's going to have it in her booth. Okay, that is that. Next, I wanted to talk about a really fun collaboration, and if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this. This is the 100 Acre Woods shawl. The pattern was designed by Helen Stewart, and it is part of the 100 Acre collection from Little Skein in the Big Wool. I've known Anne. We've done some work for her with stitch definition, and then I had the chance to hang out with her a little bit at Stitches West this past February, and we got chit-chatting about doing a collaborative kit. So this is the one that has released. Now there are multiple, if you haven't been to her website, there are multiple options that you can get for your kits. You can get a yarn bag combo, you can just get yarn, you can get a Lux bag that has a whole bunch of other little goodies in it. There's a bunch of different colorways to knit this shawl up, which I think is wonderful. And I thought I would just kind of share some of those with you. I believe she sold out of the first run completely. I am currently working on run 2 to get her pre-orders caught up. So I believe you can still order this. Just know that it will be a little while because I'm dyeing the yarn as we speak, and it's got to go to her and then be boxed up with whatever else you order and then sent on. So all of the colorways are themed on the A.A. Milne, Christopher Robin, Winnie the Pooh stories. So Anne had asked me to dye up a couple of different options. This is kind of the warm group. Let me see if I can grab, sorry, piece of paper. These might show up a little bit better. There we go. So the one in the middle is called Honey. And then there's a Pooh inspired one. That's kind of a warm toast brown, and then Piglet, that's kind of an light apricot color. So those you can get in any mix and match version. And then the gradient that is pictured in the promo postcard, this one right here, is a set that has 3 greens, a light, a dark, and a medium, and 2 purples, a dark and a medium. So here's the whole set together. And what I did is I actually worked off of some of the original watercolors for the book, and those were the inspiration for all of the colors. These are my little initial samples. The skeins that you would get for the gradient kit are a little bit bigger. They're this size as opposed to this size. So they come ready to go, plenty of these to knit the shawl up in any of the iterations that Helen created. The base that you would receive them on is my Austen sock, which is the merino superwash merino cashmere nylon. So it's super soft and super squishy, really nice to wear around your neck in a shawl type pattern. So that you can get the pattern as a Ravelry download. You don't have to necessarily order the kit, but obviously if you wanted to match the colors, that's available through Little Skein and the Big Wool. And Anne is also doing a knit along in her group. I dropped stuff on the floor. So let me show you what else comes in the Lux Kit, because as the dyer I got a complimentary version of it. There's a cute little Pooh and Piglet note card. There's a little progress keeper that's a honeycomb. There are 2 honey beeswax based products. There's a lip balm, and then this hand lotion. Both of these are made by Tuft Woolens. And this one, you guys, smells so good. I mean, it smells like honey. And you could smell it as soon as I got the box. I mean, I hadn't even opened the box. You could smell this. So good. Then there's also a little collection of stitch markers. There's this one. That's a little honeycomb. That's kind of your beginning of the round marker. And then there's a set of just colored bead ones. You guys get to look at all my work charts there on the back of that piece of paper. And then Anne sent me one of the larger bags, which has Pooh and Piglet and little bees on it. And this motif right here is the 100 Acre Wood. As always, all of her stuff is just really nicely made. There's this uber cute, let's see if I can show it. The lining fabric is a pale kind of butter yellow, and it's got Pooh and Piglet on it as well. So nice big size. I mean, plenty big to put all of your shawl skeins into while you're working on it. Probably enough for even garments if you decide to go that direction. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed that collaboration. I had a great time working up the colorways. Anne is super to work with. All of her stuff is really, really nice. I love what Helen did with the gradient. So again, if that seems like something that's up your alley, the link will be in the show notes. You guys can pop over and think about purchasing yourself a gift for Christmas or as a gift for someone who knits. All right, let's see. I think that's it for the kit. Yes. Okay, then last little bit of shop news. I wanted to make you guys aware of 2 new yarn colorways that I have going on up into the shop today. The first one, if you are not a hand spinner, is actually the yarn version of the Spinners Club fiber called Autumno. It's got plum and forest green, little bits of bronze. I have this available. I have 3 skeins available in the Austen sock yarn base. Those will be up in the shop. And then this is also another brand new colorway called Koi Pond. And that is a speckle dye colorway. I should say this one is a hand paint colorway. This is a speckle dye colorway. It's got bright turquoise. It's got little pops of orange. It's got kind of a bronze and some green in there. And I have 3 skeins available of this on the new Barrel sock yarn base, the Targhee nylon blend. So those are some things I've been working on. They are in the shop if you are so inclined. Let's see. I think we are done with shop-related news. Next, I don't have anything to show you guys for my knitting. I have started work on the next secret knitting project. It's a pair of socks. I have 1 sock completely done. I finished that up yesterday so I could take some casual photos and send those off to my tester. She is working on that right now. So I just have 1 other sock to finish. I find when I'm doing design stuff that it's the second one of something, whether it's a pair of mitts or pair of socks, goes much quicker for me. So because I'm not double checking the chart, I'm not kind of fussing with the stitch count potentially. I can just knit it because I know the first one's done and it's done correctly, so I can move on with that. So I think I can finish that one up even with house guests in a week. But that said, I thought over the next couple of days while we were still here without house guests, that I would put the next sweater I need to work on the needles. That way I can devote a little bit of brain power to it. It's a colorwork sweater, so I know that it's not something I can do while I'm talking and socializing and back and forth things, so I need to focus just on that. So I think if I get that one started and put a couple of days work on it, I will feel like I'm making progress on it, and then I can work on the socks while I'm chit-chatting. I mean, once I've got that down, the charts are all finished. It's in good enough shape. I don't feel like I would miss anything. So that is what I'm working on in terms of secret knitting. And my other knitting project, actually, I left it in our other vehicle, which my husband is off with. We drove down to Santa Fe yesterday, which kind of surprised me because my husband is not a let's go shopping kind of guy, and he wanted to go to the mall. So, okay. I went with him, and he wound up not actually buying anything, but I had been looking for a table runner for a sideboard, and the kitchen store down at the mall there had one that I liked, so I wound up getting that. But anyway, I had tucked the bag of my other project in there, and he has that vehicle with him because I didn't grab it when on our way out last night when we got back from the mall. And that is my second pair of holiday gift socks. I've got the cuff finished on sock 1, and I'm about 2/3 of the way down the leg. So my plan for those is to finish the leg and tuck the heel in and try to have a finished sock number 1 by this time next week. That is the plan. Because I would really like to have Christmas boxes out in the mail by about the 6th or the 8th, and we'll see if I can do that. Stay tuned. So that is my boring knitting update with not anything at all to show you. Sorry for that. Next, spinning. I've actually done some spinning this week. I think I told you guys last time, sorry for the crinkling, I was trying to decide between one of 3 remaining spin the bin braids, and I picked Boardwalk, which is superwash merino from 2 by Hand from Deep Stash. This is a gradient. Let's see if I can kind of reorganize it so you guys can see that that is a truth. I have split this roving in half lengthwise. So it starts with kind of this greeny brown and then goes to the orange and then the teal and then kind of a lighter, the end part has a lot of white in it. So you can see there's a section that's really bright orange. That's pretty true. So brown to kind of a greeny brown to the orange to the teal to a sort of speckly, lots of white section. So I have the first half spun up, which doesn't look like much because I'm keeping the colors as a gradient. So this is that greeny brown color. That's the end of the braid. So hidden in there is the orange and the teal. Sorry guys, gotta grab that. I'm back. Just one of those things. Gotta grab it when you need to. Anyway, so that is where I am on the spinning. I have half of the singles done. Not sure if I will get much more done this week, but I am going to try. I'm going to at least try to get that gradient, the second half of the gradient on my wheel. I'd like to have that one done up in the next 10 days or so. We'll see. Spinning is not, where I have my spinning wheel upstairs is not necessarily conducive to having house guests, so we'll see. We'll see if I get to it or not. But it is kind of on the to-do list in the next week or so. Okay, so that is all with that. Again, I have now 2 things left for my Spin the Bin project. I have one 4-ounce braid of alpaca and superfine merino, and I have 1.85 ounces. I have 2 little tiny bats of a merino Angora bunny blend to finish up, and that's it. That's all there is left. So I'm trying to I'm trying to stay focused. I really want to try to get that done by the end of the year. So that's it for spinning right now. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you guys, you saw all of the things that I had gotten finished up in the world of stitching last week. I had those 3 ornaments and the one finished bigger piece. So those are all done, and so I wanted to share with you guys the piece that I'm working on right now. This is a stitch along, and it's a mystery stitch along. So each clue for it comes out every other week, and I wasn't sure I was going to like that format, but as it turns out, I love it because it's like one little box you can check off and say, oh, I finished that. It's not a full finish because there's 16 parts, but it's okay. Each little clue, when you finish it, then you're like, oh, I'm done that, and I can put it away for 2 more weeks till the next clue comes out. So the designer for this is Deb over at Tempting Tangles, and this is where I am on this project. The text that you see there in the middle is going to say welcome. It is a welcome sampler. So I'm doing this with a hand-dyed linen, and I'm doing this with some hand-dyed threads. And really enjoying it. The little, I don't know if you guys can see, no, that's not too bad. The little leafy vine part, not everybody loves backstitch, and that's what that is. I happen to love it. I think it's really delicate looking and very pretty. I actually like it a lot. Now, some of the folks who are doing this, it didn't specify in the pattern whether you use 2 threads for that or 1. I have done the motifs in 2 threads. So you can see they're a little bit thicker. And then the vine itself is done in just 1 thread. So I think it makes it look kind of wispy and very soft and pretty. I'm really enjoying working on this one. So this caught me up through the clue that came out on Friday the 18th. And so the next clue for this one will come out on, I'm trying to see my calendar, December 2nd. So this one could go, you know, marinate for a little while, and I have some bigger projects that I'm working on that I probably will work on this afternoon as well. But just to show you guys a little bit of what I am up to. And then I guess one final note, the vest that I have on today is actually a piece that I designed and knit for the Jane Austen Knits collection in, I believe it's been 2 falls ago. It was the last one that Amy was the editor of. And I wasn't planning on submitting anything because I was kind of in the throes of doing all of my swatching for Free Spirit Knits for the book. And so I'd sent her an email and just said, oh, well, I would love to send you something, but I think that's kind of outside of what I can do, which is too bad because I had this great idea for a men's Fair Isle vest. And she was like, oh, we would really like to have a men's piece or 2 in the collection. Are you sure you couldn't send that to me? So I did wind up, obviously, here it is, sending it to her. And I will put a link to the pattern collection down below. I enjoyed knitting this one very much. It's knit out of Brooklyn Tweed Loft. It has what's the word I'm looking for? I think it has a nice unisex appeal. I think I would do brighter colors if I was going to do it for myself, but this is the actual sample that they photographed in the book. The guy that they photographed it on must have been tiny because it's only a finished size 36, and it looked like it had a little bit of room on him. So he must have been a string bean. Anyway, the Jane Austen work that this was inspired by was Emma. I love the idea of the local farmers and kind of the hedgerows and the rusted wagon wheels and things like that. So that is what this is that I'm wearing. I'm trying to dig out some of my older samples and actually put them on, assuming they fit, and wear them. There's a concept. And since I'm done in my dye room today and do not have to get all nasty mucky cleaning the oven this afternoon, since that is done as well, I thought, well, I'm showered, I'm going to wear this. It's just a great layering piece for inside, so it'll work perfectly for today. I will not be recording a podcast next weekend, which is the 27th. My folks are still going to be here through the weekend, and I wanted to take, some time to spend with them. I am going to try to record the following week, which would be first week of December, like the 4th or 5th of December. Probably the 4th is when I will try to record if I can. We still have house guests then, but it's my mother-in-law, and hopefully my husband will want to take her out to lunch or something at some point while she's here. So if you are in the U.S., have an absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving. I am sure that there are many things we are thankful for, and it's always good to take a day to remember those things. I certainly am thankful for you, all of you out there, my virtual and real friends, real life friends. Thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast every week and all the support that you've given the business this past year. I am very grateful for both of those things. And thank you as well for your kind comments and notes and support and things like that this past summer. I am thankful to be back to my fighting weight, good health, and I hope the same is true at your end. So until I talk to you next time, have a wonderful couple of weeks. Have a happy Thanksgiving if you're here in the U.S. And hopefully you get some fun, crafty time and time to spend with family and friends. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you then.